All right. Bit of a slow start today. It's been a while since my interface decided to freak out a little bit. It does that sometimes. I don't know why. Randomly lose synchronization. So yeah, just wanted to take a look into that and make sure things were not freaking out anymore before I went live. How's everybody doing? Feeling low-key today, to be honest. Just one of those days. That's all right. We all have our highs and our lows. Not that it's low, just somewhere in the middle. Who was first today? What's up? Stereo Decor, how's it going? Vasek. Metaphase is reporting for duty. Martin Crockett, LFG. Yeah. I'll do my best. Hello, Dar Yaya 9000. Or Jaja. Which one is it? Would you please clarify? We got Functor here. Greetings, Lauren Moore. Marco Freudenberg, what's up? Thank you for the shout. Yes, Christian and I have our Jumbo EP out very recently. Happy to have that going. And yeah. Stereo Decor is telling me the music is doubled. Well, of course. Let's fix that. Let's fix that right now before we switch everything over. What's going on with my mixer today? It is just... I told you, it's one of those days. Yeah, I don't know. This is strange. All right, you tell me if the music is still doubled or not. Let me know if the music is still doubled. I'm not sure what's going on. Well, we'll figure it out. Now, right now, looking at my meters, I only see one output going, so maybe I fixed it, but you'll tell me. Okay. Dave Sweetmiller, Zellico. Okay, thanks, Stereo Decor. Now that I've gotten the okay from you, let's bring it on in. We'll do our best to pick this back up again. What's up, everybody? Popping up here. Got my nerdy animated OBS transitions throwing me around the screen. It's Selway's Techno Saturdays. I'm here at 343 Labs Music Production School. You know what we do. We got our school here in New York. We've got it in Berlin. We've got our online classes. We've got a workshop, like an Ableton workshop going on in the room right behind me. We've got our DJ labs and our regular student labs downstairs. We got studio sessions happening. Even on a chill Saturday, there's still a lot going on around here. So you know what to do if you want to find out more about what we've got going on here. We've got the links in the description below to know more. We have events. We have free events going on. We have my streams, obviously. We've got the Chop Shop. Our instructor, Dane, artist named Great Dane, does the sample challenge sort of competition / party. He likes to have people come hang out, have a couple drinks, and DJ a little bit afterwards. If you're in New York, keep an eye out for that. Every week, we've got something going on. We had our first all Spanish language masterclass very recently, and that went really well. And I don't know. Let's see what else is going on here at 343 Labs coming up over the next weeks. We have some students and other 343 associates playing in an event here in Brooklyn, Distort at Rebecca's. This is going to be cool. We've got a double masterclass going on here coming up on the 19th. We started a DJ course recently, and we have a new instructor here, DJ Next Dimensional. She's going to give a free kind of beginner-oriented masterclass along with Alden Mueller. It's another one of our very talented instructors here. So that's the first time we're doing this double masterclass here in New York. Also really psyched to have a very interesting techno artist coming in to join our Ableton user group, which I usually oversee when we do it. Demian Licht. She's going to show us how she performs with the push. And yeah, that should be a lot of fun as well. And yeah, the aforementioned Chop Shop. And then for you guys, you know, I've had some pretty fun guests on the show in the past. One of our favorites for the Electro Saturdays is Anthony Rother. And he's going to be playing here in New York in a couple of weeks. And an Omnidisc. Is it Omnidisc? Am I getting that right? Did I just totally put my foot in my mouth? Anyway, he's playing with Danny Days. And yeah, it's Omnidisc. I remember correctly. So they're doing a night, and Anthony's going to be in town. He's going to stop by here. I'm not going to do my regular stream that day. We're going to do like a public event. We're going to have people here. We're going to have It'll be online as well. I'm gonna put the cameras on, so y'all can hang out with us. And it's gonna be like doing my regular Saturday live stream with Anthony as a guest, and maybe, I don't know, try bringing some other people as well. I'm gonna see, but with an audience. So this is a first for me. It's gonna be. I'm a little nervous about it, to be honest. So yeah, it should be 2 weeks from today, on the 29th. All goes well, right? We haven't posted it up yet, but we'll be putting that online. There'll be some social media. You'll hear about it, and it will be live here later in the day on the 343 Labs channel. So keep an eye out for that. While we're just chatting, someone in the Discord, in the Selway feedback Discord, which, by the way, if you haven't joined already, you should. There's also a link below. Whenever we do our feedback sessions or we do any special projects like the Auto Freak Remix Challenge, you'll hear about it first there. But it's been a while since we've done a feedback session, so I need to sort this out. Some of you guys probably watch Funk Devoid's streams on Twitch. Do you guys follow him? He does he does feedback sessions all the time, and he's been bringing guests on. He had Christian Smith on recently. I was lurking around to watch how that went. So, Christian told him that he should be a guest on my stream, and of course I would love that. And I have this idea, so I'm going to throw this out there. Maybe we can swap, right? I thought we could do a feedback session, like a 2-stage feedback session. This is my idea. Now, don't hold me to this. This is just an idea. I'm just sharing with you. You can tell me what you think. But I thought we could do 2 feedback sessions, one on my stream and one on Funk Devoid's stream. And everybody who submits, he does this whole voting thing, right? Well, what I would propose to him, so, this is why we've got to discuss it first, but I'm just, here I am, I'm thinking out loud in public, is that we have everybody submit, right? And then, we rank them or we give them their feedback. And then we do a follow-up one where they can fit, if there's something that needs to be worked on or improved, right? For the second feedback session, the same people will submit their updated, fixed up tracks according to the constructive feedback we give them. I thought that'd be fun because it's like, it's following through, right? You do all these feedback sessions and you say, hey, yeah, great track, but your kick drum's shitty, so you need to make it better, whatever it is, right? But then we could check in and see whether they did their homework or not. Anyway, just a thought. I actually literally thought about this riding my bike to 343 Labs today. It's like, how would we do this? How, if I were to collaborate a little bit with Funk Devoid. So listen, let's do it. What are y'all chatting about here? Ableton Live 12 update coming soon. Yes, indeed. The beta is public. As it happens, this is the beta right here. Because I was like, oh, look, they updated autofilter. And everybody uses autofilter all the time. Of course, it's way overdue. It hasn't been changed since the earliest versions of Live. So yeah, let's take a look at that. And then there's the bounce in place or bounce to new track thing, which is also way, 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 way overdue. It's cool that they did that. And, that's going to take 1 second to see if it works. But yeah, hey, Reese Connolly saying, going to make the switch from Logic. Having bounce in place has been a thing in Logic for ever, right? So it's kind of, yeah, finally Ableton got it together to do that. And we don't have to do it in multiple steps now, right? I love it. Cool. Oh, that was the thing. Yeah, just since it was mentioned, there it is. This is the new release from Christian Smith and I, the Jumbo EP, and let's go look at it on Bandcamp. Why not? Actually, I'm not even. Oh my gosh, I've got all these. You don't need to see my browser tabs. Anyway, yeah, go check this out. We have 2 new tracks and then a remake of an older track. We've been doing this lately. It's tracks we did maybe 10 years ago that are maybe a little slow and not as maybe the mixes could be updated a little bit. Tracks that, it's a lot of times tracks that Christian would like to play out, but then maybe it's not quite as beefy and up to the current tracks. I don't know. So yeah, we picked out this track, Pattern Recognition, to do an update of. And I don't know, I'm happy with this one. And anyway, Jumbo, the main track, we mostly made that during one of our paid masterclass live streams that we've done some months ago. So anyway, yeah, check it out. Now, all right, what are we going to do today? I feel like I just want to hang out and talk, but as I was saying, we should, get into looking at some music. I have a little sketch here that I actually started in class, in our synthesis and sound design class, which if you look it up on the 343 Labs website, it says sound design and synthesis, but I always wanted it to be synthesis and sound design, so that's what I say. Because it really is more about synthesis and creating musical sounds as opposed to like just sound design in and of itself. But of course we cover all of that. But, it's subtractive synthesis, wavetable synthesis, sampling, and, et cetera, right? Stuff, the bread and butter stuff that people use to make music with synths, mostly plugins, right? Most of our students are software based, but all of the skills that we talk about in the class are applicable to your hardware. Same stuff. Anyway, we were playing around with granular synthesis and, I came up with a few sounds that I liked. And I started this kind of more melodic, Detroity, groovy techno track. I mean, when you say melodic techno nowadays, people start thinking commercially, kind of trancey, afterlife sort of stuff. That's not what I mean. I like, when I say melodic, I just mean like it's techno that has a melody in it and maybe some chords, right? Or maybe it leans slightly housey, but it's still techno. I don't know. Especially the kind of classic lush chords you hear and the kind of musical Detroit stuff, which are a little more soulful, a little more jazzy. That's the kind of harmony that I'm talking about. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about when I say the word melodic. But yeah, it kind of started out with this bass sound, and we were playing. Well, actually, look, I have this this pad, very typical, simple, granular, atmospheric pad, which is exactly the sort of, that's like one of the first things you learn how to do when you're making granular sounds, is you got these cloudy, grainy, randomly evolving kinds of things, right? So we did that. We went through all the typical kind of spacey stuff. And then I was like, can we make like more powerful, aggressive sounds? Like, can you make like a heavy techno kind of bass pluck sound with granular? And turns out, yes, you can, right? Of course you can, right? But it did take some doing. It did take some like tweaking. And then I ended up also having to kind of layer it. Because, okay, let's get this going here. Like, so that's like, let's turn the granular engine off. I mean, this is just some random bass pluck from the Pigment sample library. And I thought, oh, that sounds cool. You could use that. A little generic, put some effects on it, play around with it. Could be very useful. But then how to make that sound granular and atmospheric and have movement in it and make it more than what it is, but not lose the percussive energy of it. So that was the challenge for the students. And, this isn't like synth class today. I'm just showing you where the sounds came from. So yeah, let me turn this granular engine back on. And it sounds bigger, and it sounds like there's a reverb on it. Is there a reverb on it? No. The effects are off. So that's sort of the first thing, is it's getting all this atmosphere from the overlaying, repeating grains, and it's also a little bit noisy, which is actually cool. It's adding this kind of rough edge to the sound. But because of the nature of this granular engine, it never sounds sharp and punchy. It doesn't have a sharp transient, and that's just how it is. I think Phase Plant has a granular engine that lets you kind of align the grains and shape, have the transient kind of, it's like a phase retriggering thing. I'm not sure. So like you can have a granular sound that starts sharp and then is grainy. This is something that maybe Arturia should look into doing their own way, because it's a very cool thing that you can do with Phase Plant, where you can have these crazy grainy textures, but also have a sharp, punchy, percussive, detailed transient in the front of it. So anyway, and I'm using I like that they added a scan to the grain engine now, kind of like most other granular synths have, where it, it just moves the sample position through the sample, and you hear grains from, you can do like time stretching, warping kind of effects with that. But they made it so that it loops, and I didn't want it to loop. So I'm using a function instead, just a one-shot function to scan through this one-shot bass stab, and then the rate is going to control the speed of it. So right now it's actually slow. So it's more sustained and bigger sounding, but then if I increase the rate, now it's time compressing the sample, making it shorter. So I'm going to play with that in the track. But still, I can make it tighter, but it's still not punchy and sharp. So in order to make it actually more like a heavier, sharper bass sound, I just layered it with some filtered sawtooth. Right? So that's useful, generic, analog bass pluck, right? But then layer that with this, then it has that cool grainy character to it. So that's what I ended up doing. That's what we ended up figuring out in class, is like layering the granular thing that sort of sounds cool and big but soft, and then layering it with another sound that has punch, that's filling in the lows and all that stuff. So I'm happy with that. Peter is asking if there's a similar synth that's freeware to Pigments. What do you guys know about that? For granular, there's definitely free granular synths. And if you already own Live, the suite especially, you've got Granulator 3 to do stuff like this, which is what I have these chords. Here's my chord progression. I was talking about doing something kind of musical. So there's that. But the Granulator 3 doesn't cost anything if you've already paid for Live. But yeah, what are some good free granular plugins out there? And then also, probably the best hybrid wavetable modern complex synthesizer out there that's free, that has a free version anyway, is Vital. I would look at Vital. Although I don't know that has a granular engine. Anybody speak to that? I haven't looked in a while. Oh, Peter's using Ableton 10 and Operator. Okay, so yeah, you could use the old Granulator. Is there Granulator 2 work for 10? It should. Cool. All right, so I got this going. The kick is a placeholder. I know I need a better kick, so don't diss my kick yet. It's just there. And then I've got a progression going. And I was being expedient and lazy, not lazy, just expedient. And rather than take the time to program a bunch of individual drum patterns and layer them, I just went and grabbed some top loops from some really old sample packs. So hopefully, these aren't way too generic, but I'm going to go in and like redo this. I promise. I'm not going to just leave it to loops only. I don't make a habit of just taking loops straight as they are out of sample packs. I like to mess them up at least, or if I am going to use a loop straight up, it's going to be something really weird and obscure that no one else has used or whatever. But yeah, so this just gave me the vibe that I wanted right away. But I plan to program some drums. Maybe we'll even have time to get into that before the hour is up. Right, so that was my starting point. It's just getting this kind of tight groove going with that sharp bass stab, and then making it into a progression. Another thing we did in class was like, what else can you do with granular that's atypical? So I just decided to throw a 909 hat. What is that? Warning! Black Blazes stop working properly. Oh, geez. Okay, that is not what I need right now. I need my backup to be running. Anyway, so I have actually just a 909 hi-hat in here, and just doing a typical regular open hi-hat pattern. But then, like, let's see what granular does for us in terms of like manipulation of even just like a one-shot drum sample. That's it. I mean, it's tuned down, right? That's exactly what you'd expect. Regular old 909 sample. But then we were playing around with granular. And this is another, I've talked about this before with pigments, is I like that you can quantize the grains and do kind of rhythmic chopping effects. So that's what's happening. I'm adding like this extra kind of chopped up granular layer to just a straight up 909 hi-hat and having fun with that. You can use the scan to like kind of slow down or speed up the length of the sample. You can adjust the envelope shape of each grain. It's really expressive just for like putting in an open hi-hat pattern. You can change the size. It's not doing that much. It's just kind of, again, making it shorter or longer. And then down here, we've got all the randomization. You know, there's the start randomization. There's pitch randomization. You can go a little nuts with you if you want. And the size, you know, I'm making shorter or longer chops of that sample. I could randomize the stereo if I wanted. Yes, there's a lot of complexity you can get just out of that one 909 hi-hat. So that was another fun exercise to do in class. And I kept it. I like this. It's like making a cool groove. And this is something I could play with and automate it and, you know, make more or less intense over the course of the track. Is that doing anything? Yeah. I think I'm still using that same trick with the function to scan through, but I'm using that and the actual scan thing to play around with it. So how does that sound? It's sort of a little too random sometimes. I might dial it back, but yeah, I think I want to make it so I hear the upbeat hi-hat a little bit more often. Longer size helps with that. Let's throw those chords in. So here I'm using Granulator 3 instead of Pigments. Using the scan, and this is cool because like there's a, you know, that one chord stab, but then in the sample there's other little bits. So when I increase the scan rate, it's going faster, and then it's doing more chopped up kind of short thing. Get rid of those hi-hats, you can hear me better. And so yeah, when the scan is slower, it's a little more full sounding, and when it's faster, it's like chopping it shorter. It's going through the sample more quickly. And having that small grain size, we're getting a lot more grains on top of each other and it's sounding more full and sort of chorused. And there's a sweet spot there. There's, you know, sometimes it sounds too grainy. I mean, that's okay, right? It's kind of noisy at that point. That's what happens when your grains get so small in length and in density and in speed. It just starts to become noisy, right? And that variation makes a big difference. Moving things around, moving the phase position of each grain around, and also panning them in stereo, which is cool. So yeah, I think that sounds good. Not, I like how it, as opposed to the grainy bass pluck got too soft. This one I like how it's a little bit soft because it's kind of it doesn't get in the way of the percussion, right? It's kind of this smooth. It's rhythmic, but it doesn't have these sharp transients that might be competing with like high frequency percussion or whatever. So, although it's a little bit more rough sounding, let me get that back to. It's a little better. A little shorter is good too. Probably keep it shorter most of the time, and when I want it to get fuller, I'll decrease the scan so it moves more slowly. And of course, I also have the envelope. If I needed to, but I feel like it's better to not go overboard on that. And then let's get these drums back on, and then I'll play you the full progression that I'm a little bit on the fence about. Like, is it getting too jazzy, too moody? Let's see. I want it to be kind of uplifting. All right. So that's sort of how it started. Let's take a minute and hang out and talk. What time is it? All right, 2:16. I know I started late. We'll do our best. We'll see how long we can go today. But yeah, what are you guys talking about? All right. Metaphase is asking if I'm using the newest Pigments updates. Yes, indeed. This is Pigment 6. I really like it. I think the new stuff they added is excellent. The fact that you could have up to 9 simultaneous vocoders in one plugin is completely bonkers. I mean, okay, right? And the new engine, the modal engine is great, right? And I love physical modeling synthesis, and modal synthesis and physical modeling are like, part of the same world. That's really excellent. And look at this. We were talking about Funk to Void and maybe collaborating on a thing. This is my idea, but it was nice of Jada to say that this has a kind of Funk to Void vibe. And yeah, sure, why not? If we don't do the feedback session, maybe I can have him come on and we'll like make a track in that style, or or something, or he can talk about his flow or whatever as a producer, so to speak. And Aaron Hedges is asking what Serum 2 will be like. Is that a thing? Is Serum 2 really coming? Have you guys heard about that? I have no idea. I hardly ever use Serum. I pull it out when my students ask me, hey, can you show me something with Serum? And I'm like, okay. I don't know. I've never loved it. It's got some really cool stuff, but I never clicked with it, and I don't know why. Maybe because I used Massive for so long. I just kept using Massive, and then everyone switched over to Serum, and I was like, what's the big deal? You know what I like about Serum that's really cool? Is the unison is crazy. How you can customize how you tune the voices and stuff. That is great. I wish I could. That's something I'd like to see in Pigments or other modern synths that have lots of polyphony. Is more complexity in the unison, because you can do like additive synthesis if you have enough control and enough voices and enough control over unison. It's really great. So that's a cool thing. And the drag and drop the waveforms is dope. And isn't there a thing where you can like take a wavetable waveform and make an LFO out of it, or vice versa? I forget, but that's all. Those little details are what make it cool, I think. Yeah, I'll be interested. Maybe I'll once Serum 2 comes out, let's see what they do. And yeah. I'll give it a chance, but man, do I need any more synths? No. Do I need any more plugins? No, not really. I really take my time buying new stuff. I like the 4s Max for Live devices. I've played with a couple of their things, and obviously I use all the Arturia stuff. I mean, I feel like the whole V collection is most of what I need, plus pigments. And, forget about it. I don't need any of it. I've got live devices are enough. Those random plugins, the random and random metal, those are bonkers. Stuff like that that's unique. Stuff like Simplant, the very unique plugins, sure. But when it comes to audio effects, definitely I don't need any more. I mean, what's new in audio? What's like a new audio effect plugin that you like that's like really new and different or special, like worth buying or whatever? I mean, for me, like Soothe 2 was one of those, right? Like it's a problem solver. Don't rely on it for everything, though. You still need to learn how to EQ things and compress things traditionally. Gullfoss would be one that I think is similar, right? That's like it does stuff that you can't do without tearing your hair out, right? And they have a new saturator. What the guys that do Gullfoss have a really cool looking saturator out now. What's that called again? I'm totally Crafter. Those, like, I've been waiting. I was like, should I get Gullfoss? I don't know if I really need it. I got Soothe 2. I've got other things. I think I'm sold on it now. And then Crafter, I was like, dude, that sounds awesome. It sounds really good. So those, I'm thinking about those. But those are the only new audio effects I'm like, huh. And then when it comes to synths, yeah, if it's something unique and different and I can't do it already, yeah, I'll give it a chance. Yeah, UK Strings is saying random metal is a favorite. I totally agree. Now, here we go. Hey, Jean-Paul Bondi, nice to have you back again. Scape Shift looks, I forgot about that. That looks redonkulous. Wait, let me see this. Can't even type. Generative, okay. Yeah, this thing, just for making crazy ideas, this looks interesting. This looks fun to play with. Maybe we'll grab this and use it on the stream one day and make some really insane electro or something. I feel like this would be really good for that. Just make some whacked out loops and improv with it, and then chop it up and make something out of it. I think that would be fun. You used it in a live show. See, if you can play live with something like this and you sound like you and you don't sound like Tim Exile, that's one of the dangers I've always felt about these kind of groove box synths, is that you end up sounding like the process came from someone's artistic composition process, and like you end up sounding like them. So that would be the thing with something like this, is if you can use this platform to sound like you, then I'm all for it. So cool that you were able to do that. And okay, Jaja's talking about Galaxia. What's cool about Galaxia? I know I've heard of it, and I know it's like part of this whole rolling cloud thing. And I actually went ahead and paid for the rolling cloud. But I didn't even think about trying Galaxia. So that's another one maybe we'll do and see what's so special about it. All right. Piotr is saying stock Ableton plugins are fine. And yes, like using the built-in plugins in the DAW, you can switch between any computer and it always loads up correctly. That's totally cool. But yeah, there's definitely good reasons to not use lots of third-party plugins. I guess if you really want to be cross-compatible with PCs and Macs, you can just stick to VSTs. And I know they don't always load up properly, but if you save your presets, if you have your VST synths and effects and you save presets, you can load, and they don't, and you go from Mac to Windows and the VST doesn't load up or vice versa, you can start again. You can load up the plugin and then import the preset that you saved from the other computer. It's extra work, but that's the other way to do it, is that. All right, so we've been talking. Let's get back into what's happening with this funky, melodic, Detroit-y space jam we got going on here. And then I decided, and this is more of a composition thing, and I'm not 100% sold on this yet, is that I've got the bass part. I added a high melody using the bass sound as a kind of a counterpoint thing. What do you think? I kind of like it, like it's catchy. It's simple. It's just like this descending scale, right? And it's also maybe a little bright or loud. I'm wondering if I should just separate it out on another track so I can control it independently. Could also use velocity to bring it down. Or I could filter, right? Like if I bring the keyboard tracking down on the low pass filter, those high notes will be quieter. It'll be less bright. Oh, I love it. UK Strings reminds you of Technasia. I'll take that as a great compliment. I loved the Technasia stuff back in the day, right? Yeah, you know what? I hear it too. This kind of musical, Detroity, fast. Yes. I'll take it. Thank you. Right. So Aaron's saying put some delay on it. Yeah, that could be cool. I like being able to lower the brightness of it, and I can do it with the keyboard tracking, but that's also making the bass plucks less bright, I think. Actually, it's not bad. I think, as long as the envelope modulation of the cutoff is brighter, higher than the amount of whatever the filter frequency is with the keyboard tracking lower. I could use that. I could just automate that. And then, but if I add delay on this, it's also going to be on the bass plucks. But well, let's see. Ooh, here we go. What if I do keyboard tracking to send? Here we go. All right, this is nutty. This is totally unnecessary, but we're going to do it. So I'm going to do keyboard tracking to the send. So those high notes are going to have see that? So it's only going to have a higher amount of send on the high notes. And then let's make that into a delay. Dotted eighths, why not? I don't know if that's the kind of delay you were thinking of, but hey, that's a trick. I've never done that before. I literally have never used MIDI note keyboard tracking to control the send of effect before. Fun. Interesting. Let me go back over to the synth. It's like you're treating one sound like two. Does that work? Well, remains to be seen whether I keep that or not. All right, so where are we at? I have what started out as just a little blip turned into another kind of melody to go along with this. So it started out like just a do 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 do. Right, and this is another exercise from synth class where we're doing, playing around with what the granular can do. And I'm doing the same thing to this as I was to the open hi-hat, where I'm doing quantized grains, where it's just chopping it up and making a rhythm. Without the granular engine versus with the granular engine. So it's chopping up and bouncing around and doing a rhythmic pattern because I've got it synced to eighth notes, and then I'm also randomizing the density, so it does eighth and 16th notes. And I'm also randomizing the position. It's scanning through, that kind of creates some extra movement in the sound, but it's subtle. The envelope is a percussive shape. This is my favorite non-smooth envelope shape, is the smooth exponential, because it's percussive, but it doesn't click at the beginning because it's got a little bit of a, exponential curve to it. Really simple sound, just going through a filter, some delay on it, and then it has a melodic element. Let's get the chord progression going. See, this is where it's this is the one where I think, is this too jazzy to go up that chromatic step? And it makes the most sense with the chord progression, so let's hear that. Right, so there's that one out jazzy combination that I'm like, is that too far? Or should I just keep it one note the whole time? Let's see how it works. Just with the one note. Maybe it can be an octave higher. That also works. More kind of steady that way than rising up and doing that one out chord. Or I could do another variation. Let's see how it goes. No. Like more simple melody, maybe. That works too. It's not as out as the half step up in the other version. Maybe I could just do both at different parts of the song. Anyway, I'm having fun with this. It's nice. Atmospheric break in the middle of the track somewhere. Now I just need a better kick drum. That's the kick drum by itself is like whoa, whoa. So, all right. This is turning out okay. Winding down, and I started a little late, but I'm reaching the limit of my availability today. So, the last thing I want to do before we kind of talk our way out is just take a quick look at the auto filter, the new auto filter. I know, why not? We were talking before about how there's new updates to Live, and the main one I think for everybody is this. It's a new auto filter, and I'm gonna use this to make my kick drum sound better. I think that's you know, I need a little bit more of a snap on it. It was a little bit too not bright enough, right? But we got this nice drive. Whoa, let's put the clipping on. Let's not blow everybody's ears out. I mean, already I would do that with a saturator, but it's nice to have it in here. Let's see what else. Let's see what else these filter models can do. Now that's pretty extreme, but if you didn't know already, using notches or deep kind of cuts to shape the tone and control the balance of frequencies in your kick drum is actually, it's a sound design thing and it's a mixing thing, but like that's already something I could do with a filter. Doesn't matter whether it's this filter or not. What else we got going on here? Got the morphing filter. That's not going to help you today. Live already has a morphing filter in other devices, but it's more complex than this. This one goes low, band pass, high pass. They took the notch out, which I think they should have left it in. But then maybe because they did this, now they have a notch low pass, which is also morphing. So I think that's why they did that. Is so you've got two different morphing filters now. Not saying this is like the best kick in the world. We're just experimenting. It's also much more hardcore sounding now. All right, let's see what this did for us. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but let's see. Yes, it's too mid-rangey. It's taking away too many highs. I tried this out earlier and it sounded better, and today I'm like, Not loving that. Not knocking the auto filter, just it's not working for my kick right now. All right, this is a cool thing actually. I mean, I've tried to make my own like Pioneer style DJ filters using Max for Live devices and mapping tricky things. So they finally have now in Live a sweepable high pass, low pass. That's great. That's great for performance. That's great for putting on your master, right? Let's do that. And get these drums going. Yeah, it's like you're DJing. All right, that's very useful, especially for performance. But I would also use this for like audio effect racks and like doing washout effects and, combining this with like a delay and a reverb. That's going to be very handy for performance effects. It's great that they put that in there. Let's see what this sounds like on my bass, actually. Because I think there's some other stuff going on here that would be good. Like that. The resampling filter. Now it sounds to me like it's like sample rate reduction combined with a low pass filter. And you can do effects like this. You can put like redux and a low pass filter on something. It would sound very similar, but this has a different character to it. I like the sound of this for that type of thing. I think it sounds great. If you're looking for that. I think for this track, probably not. And okay, comb filtering, awesome. You know what? That might sound cool on the chords. Put the phase offset to make it stereo. All right, I'm cool with that. That's a nice trick to have up your sleeve. The vowel filter. And I like that it has it does the pitch for the vowel thing, the vowel sound, the formants in semitones, so you can get it in key with something. That's great. And all right, I haven't explored what they added in terms of the complexity of the sidechain filter yet. I think we'll leave that for another time. But yeah, so far so good. They definitely added some really cool things with autofilter. And like, I'm already having ideas. Like, what if I take this and I put it in a rack and I put a delay in front of it? Which delay? Any delay. Doesn't matter. Right? And then have like crazy whatever. Let's see. So there's the dry signal. Like formant shifted delays. Why not? And let's do the stepped. Right? So I mean, the old autofilter does something like this too, where you can have the smooth modulation jump to a note length value, right? So it's taking that sine wave and having it jump up and down on the beat. I love that trick. It's a little messy now because there's so much going on with the delay, but whatever, I'm having fun. I'm just thinning it out a little bit. I like it. I might keep it. I'm happier with the kick now. It still needs more punch, but it's better. One last time, let's hear the whole progression. And we got everything going on. A little busy on those delays. Yeah, busy, busy, busy. Some of this will be down to the mix, how it all fits together, how it's arranged. It is a little busy right now with all the delays and stuff on those chords, which are already busy. But yeah. So, okay. Let's talk a little bit before we say goodbye. Aaron says, I bet that could sound chunky on a snare. Oh, you're talking about the autofilter. Yeah, the autofilter's got some nice new tricks going on. Music Maestro saying Vince Watson vibe. Yeah, love that guy. Love to have, you all mentioned Technasia, Funkavoid, Vince Watson, like the musical, kind of a little bit funky, Detroity, futuristic techno. Definitely feeling that. Definitely had that in mind for this sketch that I started from the sounds we made in class at 343 Labs this week. So cool. Aaron saying everything sounds great soloed. Yes, everything always sounds great soloed. Like you can't like mix down a track by soloing things, right? You got to like hear it in the mix. You got to hear your parts in the mix in your arrangements and all together before you decide how you're going to use them, right? Jaja's asking if I use push. I have one. I have a push 2. I rarely use it, honestly. I've used it for some live performances. I don't use it to write with. Just use it like I'd use any other controller for something specific that I needed. But yeah, on a day-to-day basis, no. We use them here in classes. I haven't been teaching the Ableton Live class that much, but it does come up. And we have one push 3 here for people to try out, for the standalone kind of live performance setup, DAW-less setup, so to speak. It's not really DAW-less. It's like a mini DAW in a box. But yeah, so I like them. I just, honestly, I'm so comfortably locked into my laptop workflow. I do so much without even a MIDI controller. Have hands on and do like real keyboard stuff. I'll plug in a keyboard, or when I want to do some multiple knob tweaking, I'll use, my Novation Launch Control XL, I think, or whatever it's called. What is it? Yeah, this thing. This is my favorite affordable multi-knob and fader. That I like that more than a push, honestly. Yeah. So that's it for today. Yeah, I'm going to go, this week I'm going to reach out to Funk to Void and see if we can set up this idea that I told you all what I thought. I'm going to propose this. I'm throwing down the gauntlet, Mr. Funk to Void, sir. Let's try it. You come on my show, and then I come on your show, and we do a 2-stage feedback session where we have 2 rounds, right? And then everybody comes in, gets their feedback, and then they come back again for the second, and we see how much they improved, right? That's what I want to do. If we don't do it, fine, but all right then. Also, I mentioned 2 weeks from today, Anthony Rother's in town here in New York City, and he is coming by 343 Labs, and instead of doing the regular Selway Techno Saturday or Electro Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, it'll be a little later, probably around 3 o'clock, and it's going to be a live with an audience discussion / masterclass. We're just going to hang out, be nerds, talk about electro, talk about making music, and have Q&A with the audience, and that will also be live streamed here on the 343 Labs YouTube channel. So keep your eyes posted. We'll post that. We'll have that event up as soon as it is ready to go. And there'll be social media shouting about it, of course. We've got social media interns now. Like, what is going on here? I'm so not a social media guy. I do like the bare minimum. So thanks everybody for hanging out today. This was good. I woke up this morning not really sure what I was going to do. And then I thought, hey, I had this nice sketch from class, and let's see what happens. And I think it went all right. So see you all again next week. And yeah, I'll be join the Discord if you're not already there. Join the Discord when we do the next feedback sessions coming up. Whether it's this idea I'm approaching Funk to Void with, or I just do my regular thing, or whether I have a guest or not. The first place you're going to hear about any upcoming feedback sessions will be in the Selway feedback channel at the 343 Labs Discord. There's a link there if you haven't joined already. That's it for today. Have a good week. See you next time. See you later.